All right, hi everybody.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay. Raise your hand if you have ever heard of sugar before. Okay. Now tell me, when you think of the word sugar, do you think of something good or something bad?
Good.
Good because it tastes good?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Mrs. Collins, and today I want to talk to you guys about sugars and the difference between natural sugar and added sugar. Okay, raise your hand if you've ever heard of the word carbohydrate before. That's a pretty big word, isn't it? Well, the reason we need carbohydrates for our body is because they give us energy. Kind of like how a car needs gas to run, our body needs carbohydrates for fuel. And sugars are actually a type of carbohydrate. So there are two types of sugars that we're going to talk about today: natural and added sugars. Have you ever heard of those words before? Sometimes when we're watching TV and we see a TV commercial, we may hear something has a natural sugar in it. Well, we're going to talk about those today. A natural sugar means that sugar is already in a food. And an added sugar means that we took a food or a drink that doesn't have sugar in it, and we took sugar and we put it in that food. Why do you think that we would put sugar in a food or in a drink? Yes.
To make it taste better.
To make it taste better, to give you energy,
Make it sweet.
to make it sweet, to make it healthy. How many of you guys have ever been cooking in the kitchen with your mom or your dad and you're making something sweet like a cake or a cookie? Does she put sugar in there?
Yes.
Just a little bit? Well, the reason that we have to put sugar in baked goods is because sugar actually has a property in it that helps foods bake better. So that's why we use sugar in things like cookies and cakes. But I want to start off by talking about natural sugars. The good thing about natural sugars is that when a food has a natural sugar, a lot of the time the food has other vitamins and minerals that are really good for our bodies. Have you guys ever heard of the word vitamin before?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I want to use an apple as an example. Raise your hand if you like apples.
Oh, I love apples.
Did anybody have an apple for lunch today? Okay. Well, an apple has a natural sugar in it. Can anybody tell me where an apple comes from? Okay. An apple tree. So it grows from a tree. And when the apple grows from the tree, sugar is already in that apple. So we didn't put sugar in there. The sugar came in there naturally. And an apple has something in it called fiber. Fiber is good for our tummies, and it helps us feel full, and it's good for our heart. And then an apple also has vitamin C in it, and vitamin C, it helps us from catching a cold. It helps our immune system so we don't get sick. So it's important for our bodies to have some sugar, but not a ton of sugar. So eating something like an apple is a smart choice because in addition to the sugar that it has in it, it also has things good for our bodies. All right, can anybody tell me what this is?
Milk.
Milk. Raise your hand if you had milk for lunch today. What vitamins does milk have? It has vitamin A and D. One vitamin that I want to talk about that's really important for our bodies is something called calcium. Have you ever heard of calcium?
Yes.
Why is calcium good for our bodies?
Make us healthy.
To make us healthy?
Make us strong.
To make us strong. It makes our bones strong. And did you guys know that milk is actually made with a natural sugar in it? Can anybody tell me where milk comes from?
Cows.
Cows. Okay. Well, when the milk comes out of the cow, it already has sugar in it. So when we have white milk, We did not add any sugar into it. All that milk, all of that sugar is natural. Okay, some other things that have natural sugars in them, some vegetables like corn and potatoes, milk like we just talked about, and then fruits. Can anybody raise their hand and tell me their favorite fruit? Apples. Apples. Does anybody have a favorite fruit that's not an apple? Grapes.
Cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe. Okay, those are all good. You can put your hands down now. All right. Okay, an orange. All right. Now I want to talk about added sugars. Does anybody remember what an added sugar is? Sugar that's added. That means that we took a drink or a food that didn't have sugar in it when it grew, or like how sugar was already in milk when it came out of a cow. The food does not have sugar in it, and then we added it. Does anybody recognize what this is? It's a soda, isn't it?
Yes.
And so when we have regular soft drinks, do you think that that has natural sugar or added sugar? Added sugar. So the thing about added sugar is we really want to pay attention to what that food or drink is and whether or not it has anything that's good for our bodies and that will help our bodies grow strong. So if I look at the back of this, does anybody know what a nutrition label is? It tells us what is in the food. I really don't see anything on here that really helps our bodies grow strong. So when we're trying to decide what types of sugar we should eat, do you think it's better to go with the natural sugar or the added sugar?
Natural.
You think the added is better for our
Natural.
Okay, well we are going to see. We're going to do a little demonstration here. But first, I do want to make the point that whether or not a sugar is naturally in a food or added, our bodies really don't know the difference. So the important thing is what else is in that food that makes it good for us. Okay, I need 2 volunteers. Okay, and in the back too, yeah. What's your name? Carson. Grace. Okay, Gracie, sorry. Okay, I need both of you guys to hold the Ziploc bag. There you go. Oh no, it's not painful. Okay, we are going to see how much sugar is in this milk compared to this Mountain Dew. Okay, so a milk actually has 4 cubes worth of sugar. So can you count 4 cubes and put them in there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you want to hold this milk? All right. So you have Mountain Dew, and Mountain Dew actually has 12 cubes worth of sugar.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we are going to count that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so do you want to hold this Mountain Dew? All right, let's hold up our bags so everybody can see them. Which one has more sugar in it? The Mountain Dew. Does anybody remember if Mountain Dew had anything else in it that helped our bodies grow strong? Okay, now let's hold up the milk sugar. So that has less sugar in it. Does anybody remember what milk has in it? Calories. Calcium. Why is calcium good for our bodies?
Because it makes us stronger.
Because it makes us strong. So if we had to choose between a soda and milk, which one do you think is better for our bodies?
Milk.
Milk, okay. And remember, milk is the one with the natural sugar, right? All right, thank you guys so much. Okay, so let's review what kind of foods had natural sugar and what kind of foods had added sugar. Let's start with natural. Do you remember what foods had natural sugar? Apples, Grapes. So any kind of fruits, some vegetables, and what other drink has natural sugars? Milk. Okay, what about added sugars? What kind of food has added sugars? Soda.
Candy.
Candy, yes. What about cookies?
Tea.
Tea. If we have sweet tea, we added that sugar in there. Okay. I have one last activity for you guys. We're going to pass around some cards, and there are pictures of different food items on there. And we're going to separate them into which foods have natural sugars and which foods have added sugars. So when you get your cards, you can take your paper clip off. Does anybody need any help taking their paper clip off? And let's separate them in one pile. Let's put food with natural sugars, and in one pile, let's put food with added sugars. Do you remember if candy has natural or added? Candy's got added, so let's start a pile right here for that one. Okay, what about corn is natural, right? Because it's a vegetable. Where's my candy? What about candy? Added. Good job. A banana, does that have natural or added? What about a cookie? You don't have a substitute? Okay. Remember how we talked about how okay, so what's one of the
So right now it's my
Great job. Okay, guys, let's go over these together. All right. I'm going to call out a name and you tell me whether it was natural or added sugar. Cake. Added. A banana. Natural. Grapes. Natural. A cookie. Okay. Candy. Okay, what about corn?
Natural.
Okay. Can anybody raise their hand and tell me, in conclusion, why it's good for us to pick foods with natural sugars? Okay, in the black shirt. It makes you strong, right? Because foods that have natural sugar in them have other vitamins and minerals in them that are good for your bodies. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Well, thank you guys. You do? What? They'll make you healthy? Yes. Does anybody have any questions? You have a question? You wouldn't? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for letting me come and talk to you today. Did you feel like you learned anything about sugar? Okay. Thank you. I hope you have a nice afternoon. Tell her thank you.